This video is brought to you by Squarespace. You need a website or domain? You know where to go. Hello, and welcome back to another episode. I hope your holidays are going well. I mean, it's only a few days before Christmas, and I'm really excited to see my family. And if Christmas isn't your jam, just welcome back to another episode in general. Just disregard the tree back there. It's not back there. If you've seen my channel before, you know I'm looking for the perfect point and shoot. The one that makes me feel all tingly up inside. The Contax T2.
The Kodak VR35 Canon Sure Shot 85.
But it's been a hard journey. I've touched and snapped a few cameras in my day. Nothing quite hit the mark until I found this sexy beauty. And now, I think I can stop looking. It's a Christmas miracle! I mean, I did get it like months ago, so. September miracle? Well, I know the title kind of spoiled it. But it's the Ricoh R1s. Quite honestly, one of the best cameras. But there is one big downside, but we'll get into that later. Let's just talk about the good stuff. Now, I'm sure you've heard the name Ricoh before. They're popular for their compact point-and-shoot GR series cameras that, believe it or not, got their start in the 35mm game. These digital cameras are really popular among street photographers because of their size, and the 35mm Ricoh GR1 is highly sought after as well. Exposure compensation is a powerful thing. But we're not here to talk about the younger, more attractive sibling. No, we're here to talk about the older, but just as sexy, brother that is just as capable as the other siblings, earning just as much love. I don't think we're talking about cameras anymore. Now, over the years, I've created a list of criteria that a point and shoot needs to have to be perfect. Size, image quality, and how fast it can turn me on. No, I'm sorry. How fast the camera can turn on when you hit the button and it turns on. That third one being the most important. So let's dive in. First on the list, its size. The Ricoh comes in just under the size of an iPhone 12 and just as thick as your dad's wallet, which honestly is a little too thick for a wallet, but it's just the right size for a camera. No one needs to keep receipts for 5 years. No one. The Ricoh is a perfect slip in the back pocket companion with no worries of accidentally turning on the camera. Why? Why does this happen? Since the power button is semi-recessed into the body, there's no worries of taking those mid-2000 pocket pics just like the early days of cell phones. Its lightweight nature is also perfect for a wrist strap. I found the Peak Design Anchor wrist strap to be perfect for this camera. The anchor is unobtrusive when in the pocket, but ready when wanting to wear it around the wrist. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of the anchors overall, but in this case, it works really well. Now, for the second criteria, image quality. Point shoots can be all over the place with the image quality, especially depending on their lenses. But the images coming out of this R1s are sharp and satisfying. I'm continuously impressed by the quality this little nugget puts out. The R1s rocks a 30mm f3.5 lens. Not as fast as the Contax T2, but I prefer the 30mm over the narrow 38mm the Contax has. To me, 30mm is a weird sweet spot between 28 and 35mm. The thing is, I prefer 35mm, but I already have that on my Leica, so I prefer that my point and shoot has a little bit wider of a field of view. And for those who can't quite afford an X-Pan, don't worry, this camera comes with the same gimmick that most point and shoots have. Pano mode, a quick mask to hide its true intentions. But the R1s takes it a bit further. It actually has two panoramic modes, standard and wide. When in this wide mode, the lens transforms like Megatron into a 24mm lens stopped down to f8. And if you decide to use these panoramic modes, the wider one is much cooler. Overall, the autofocus is really good, especially when you have a subject in the foreground. One thing that I've noticed, however, is when you're taking a wide shot, the focus misses drastically. But that's when you have to turn to mountain mode. The official name, by the way. It's not, it's infinity mode. Just 2 clicks away on the mode button, then the camera can focus to infinity, letting you capture those wide, beautiful vistas.
Done.
But to make sure that you're always focused on the subject, you can enter single autofocus mode. Just a speedy 3 clicks away, ensuring anything in that autofocus point is in focus. Usually wouldn't spend so much time talking about the functions and the modes on this camera, but they're actually really intentional and can serve as creative choices. Super night mode and slow synchro mode are very interesting. It takes 2 photos and combines them together, one with a flash and one without. It's meant to have everything in focus, but if you're clever, you can actually trick it into doing some weird double exposures. So go nuts like donuts. But before I tell you about the third point, I need to tell you about today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one place to pick yourself up a domain or website for all your fun online endeavors. Squarespace makes it easy to design a radical online website for you to share with your peers. Whether it's starting a business, expressing your ideas through a blog, or hosting your epic photos to share with the world, Squarespace has it covered. Their clear, easy-to-use interface helps navigate, and designing a website from start to finish, a breeze. Whether you want to start from scratch by writing your own code or use one of the awesome templates, your website will look fantastic in no time. So hop on over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/badflashes to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So, number 3, the Big Mac of the bunch, the super flaming hot Cheetos of criteria, the biggest breaker of them all. How fast can this puppy dog turn on? It may not seem like a big deal, but when your camera is slow to turn on, nothing else matters. The moment is gone. The biggest pet peeve of a camera is not being ready when I am in a split second. And this camera is just that, ready when I am. In 2 seconds, this camera can be on and taking a photo. And that's what I love. Now I know what you're thinking. Caleb, it can't be all peaches and cream. Where's your shit talking? I don't know. You're right. Finding one of these cameras with a working LCD screen is really hard to find. Fortunately, I have a working LCD. But there are a ton of cameras out there that work perfectly, but just don't have a working LCD. That's why I want to create a button guide for anyone who decides to pick up one of these cameras with a busted LCD. They can look at this guide and know how to use the function buttons on the camera. Why have those cameras be prisoners of eBay, never to be used or loved? That can't be, that doesn't, no. I want them to be loved. So if you decide to pick one of those cameras up, look for another video that is just a button guide. This is just about how much I love the camera. The other one's about the button rambling. Overall, I'm super happy that I found this camera. It's a great companion to any of my other camera combinations, and it's exactly what I needed out of a point and shoot. Oh yeah, and it has a self-timer as well, but I haven't figured that shit out, so you're on your own. Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year.